Hey guys, how y'all doing today? My name is Franchise Fanatic and welcome back to the channel. And today, for you guys, is another video game review. I haven't done one of these in a while, but today we're tackling the latest DC game, Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League. Now, look, I'm just going to say it out of the gate. I don't hate this game. I don't think this is the worst game of all time, or complete woke fest, or oh my god, it's not canon, or oh my god, it shouldn't have been made, or oh, I'm going to throw a fit for 3 hours on Twitter. You know, that is not my opinion on this game. Now, I'm not also saying that I like or love this game, because I don't, but we'll get into why I actually like it. So, if you enjoyed this review, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. If you're new, it's free, it takes a second, really helps me out. Anyway, enjoy the game. I wish I could provide my own gameplay. I can't. I don't know how to film on PS5, and even if I did, it's probably too expensive right now anyway. So, I'm going to have a link for whoever's gameplay I'm using down in the description down below to credit whoever that is. But anyway, yeah, let's get into it. So, I started this game off, and I was expecting total garbage, right? And I'm like, oh, man, everyone says this is woke. Oh, my God, it's horrible. It's poorly made. It's an online-only BS garbage fest. It's boring. Everything's the same. It's the worst game ever made. So I bought it for $16. I was like, all right, let's pop this sucker in and see if it's good. And lo and behold, yeah, so I guess I, started playing this game at kind of a good time, right? Because I played the game completely offline. I played the offline mode. I don't have any of the online skins. My mom gave me some money to buy the characters, Joker, Lawless, Mrs. Freeze, Deathstroke, so I bought them. I wasn't going to, but my mom's like, hey, I know you're liking this. Here. I was like, thanks. So, because of that, I obviously, stuck to the main four characters, Harley Quinn, Deadshot, Captain Boomerang, and King Shark during the main campaign. So I did that, the first go-around. Notice how I said first go-around. Keep that in the back of your mind. First go-around of the campaign, I loved it, right? I took my time with it. I tried to level up each character to around level 10 to 15. I had a great time. I think, look, presentation-wise, the cutscenes in this game are amazing, right? Like, just the level of animation that goes into this game is effing incredible. I know it's Unreal Engine 4. It's kind of, not the best tech. We'll get into that, but what Rocksteady was able to do with Unreal Engine 4 is insane. The cutscenes look amazing. I mean, the character models look great. Everything really is, top tier. Like, the shots are great. The cinematography looks good. All that. So, presentation of the cutscenes, great. How the character models look in gameplay, also really great. I'm playing this on PS5, by the way. That kind of ties into the graphics. Graphics look really great. I don't know the specific specs or whatever. I don't really care about that. But, it looks good enough. Nothing's like, oh, that looks really muddy. You're graphically, inferior to whatever. I know Arkham Knight, which was their last game, was like, a monumental step. And that was made on Unreal Engine 3. So, it just goes to show, I know not everyone who made Arkham, I don't want to say trilogy. It's not a trilogy. It's a tetralogy or whatever. Not quad, tetralogy. I don't know. Obviously, Arkham Origins was not made by Rocksteady, but it is canon, so whatever, whole thing. But with that, like I said, the graphics look really great. Performance, this is where one of my negatives is at, but this isn't necessarily a fault of Rocksteady, right? Because I was doing some research, and I was like, man, this game runs like beautiful, buttery smooth, 60 FPS all the time in the tutorial and in the separate Earths that you go into, and, certain places that you go into, right? But then when you hit the main open world of Metropolis, right, the big 2 times the size of Arkham Knight, massive ass Metropolis, it tries to hit 60. But once you beat the campaign and there's a million things going on at once, you very quickly tell, yeah, when you're panning the camera or walking or running, it's pretty much 60. But then as soon as you start grappling as Harley or rocket boosting, whatever is Deadshot or what have you, the game does lag, right? Not really lag, but it stutters, right? Like, there is a lot of stuttering. Is it horrible? No. But is it noticeable, especially after playing shit like Spider-Man 2, where it's like complete 60 no matter what you do? Yeah, obviously. So look, Rocksteady knows how to make a game. They're not a horrible game-making company. But remember when the Arkham games released on the 360 and the PS3, those also had issues with stuttering. I also did some research with Unreal Engine. I said, oh man, what engine is this shit on? Unreal Engine 4. Okay, let's do a little bit more research. Turns out Unreal Engine 4, across all PCs, mostly all PCs and consoles, most Unreal Engine 4 games do have a slight bit, if not a fair bit, of stuttering. It's just an engine problem. Now, I know that there were a lot of behind-the-scenes drama with this game, right? They probably didn't want to make it online only. at the beginning at least. Live service shite, you know what I mean? I don't mind that because I like Borderlands and stuff like that, but you know, when it comes to being forced to make a certain game, I feel like Rocksteady was kind of essentially held at gunpoint, you know, in a lot of ways. It was like, do this way, do that way. And I'm assuming, you know, I know Unreal Engine 4 is a massive, massive engine that millions of people use probably, but it does have its issues. So yeah, objectively, this is an error with the game, right? There is stuttering. So yes, it's a problem. But I got this game basically at the end of its life cycle, and it still isn't 100% fixed. So no matter what they effing do, they probably can't get it perfectly smooth in this massive open world. Because again, you know, you got to remember, not only do you have a massive open world metropolis, you have potentially 8 characters that the game is trying to simulate different movesets and voice lines for, animations for. You've got all the crazy random events that happen, constantly stuff going on. There's a lot of computing power, CPU, GPU stuff that this game, you know, is pumping out. So I know that the first easy excuse is to be like, oh, they're lazy and they're woke and they don't care and they're stupid. But if you really do your digging on your you know, support that with your data, which I did. I spent some time Googling this shit. I found out, yeah, Unreal Engine 4 is not the best engine to use for this kind of game. And again, maybe they're dumb and they used it. Maybe they were forced to use it. I don't really know. So I don't want to say Rocksteady's bad at optimization because not every game dev is perfect, but I feel like, you know, this engine didn't help. If they went to a different engine, it probably would have been better, but they've used Unreal before, so whatever. But then, you know, most of the time it does run fine. It is a bit stuttery, but, you know, it's not that bad, in all honesty, but it is enough for me to dock it at least a point or so. But other than that, man, let's talk about the story real quick. The story of Kill the Justice League, yeah, it's not the best effing story in the world, right? But it is not the dumpster fire you think it is. Now, obviously, spoilers, for this whatever-year-old game, you probably know what happens even if you haven't played it. I got spoiled on it because, my God, when certain Justice League characters died, it was like World War frickin' 3. So when you get, you know, Batman's death and all that, and Superman's death, and Wonder Woman's death, and Green Lantern, and Flash, and all them, yeah, it's controversial, right? That's the point. It's the Suicide Squad, a bunch of losers and turds killing the Justice League, basically gods and heroes in the DC lore, right? Like Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Flash. These characters have meaning, not only in the canon, but in our real life world, right? People love these characters. I love these characters. I'm assuming you do too. So yeah, it feels kind of weird when Harley Quinn headshots Batman and he dies, right? But obviously, I know this was a massive point of contention where they're like, oh, they killed the Arkham franchise. Oh, how disrespectful. Kevin Conroy's last performance, where? And they all freaked out. Now, yeah, Kevin Conroy did pass away before this game dropped. This was one of, I don't know if it is his last, but it's one of his last performances. But Kevin Conroy signed up. He read the script. He knew what he was doing. This was not a thing where they were like, oh, shit, we didn't tell him. Oops. You know what I mean? Like, no, he knew what was going to happen. So, yeah, it's controversial. I get it. I'm not an idiot, right? Like, I don't like Harley Quinn killing Arkham Batman either. But turns out they're clones. The whole time. Yeah, they're clones. I didn't get to this part in my actual gameplay yet because, you know, I have life. But in the actual, you know, game world that I've seen on YouTube, yeah, it turns out all the Justice League members you killed are all clones. Which, yes, that helps alleviate the bullshit that the whole world was, you know, seemingly stepping in. But it also, to some people, right, this can come off as a cheap retcon. Now, it's not technically a retcon because it's the end of the story, right? It's like when you had people freaking out from Last Jedi to The Rise of Skywalker. Oh my God, they retconned everything. No, it's called an evolution of the story, people. It's called continuation of the narrative, not a retcon. So yeah, people mix up those terms. But I think that, for me, it's fine. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it feels weird to kill Batman, and yeah, are there some story beats that are a little weird? Yeah. Are there some lines and points of dialogue that are a bit cringy? Yeah. But again, people got to remember, this is the Suicide Squad game, not Arkham 500,000, whatever. You know what I mean? Harley Quinn, Captain Boomerang, Deadshot, and King Shark, they're stupid, and they're basically idiots, right? Like, they are lowest of the low criminal, and that's the appeal of the game. You're getting a bunch of these turds to kill these, essentially, gods, right? And they act like how they act. I think that the voice actors did a really good job with everyone in the game. I think Amanda Waller's really great. Seer from the Jedi series. And I think she's someone in the Modern Warfare 2019 game. But, you know, she's good in that. Everyone is great. Tara Strong is good as Harley Quinn. Obviously, she's Harley Quinn and everything. But I think that, you know, everyone does a good performance. And yeah, for the most part, the writing's fine. Like, you know, nothing stands out as like, oh my god, this is the best line in the history of gaming. But it all works enough so that you're like, oh, okay, yeah, like I believe this character is saying what he or she is saying in that moment. You know what I mean? They're not acting out of character. Captain Boomerang's making, you know, oi, I'm Captain Boomerang. Let's go stop the Flash, mate. You know, like that's how he sounds. But that's how he's supposed to sound. He's Australian. He's crazy. You know what I mean? It's a heightened version of that caricature. So yeah, I think that all that stuff really works for me. As far as, like I said, killing the Justice League, knowing that they are clones, not that big of a deal. Now, if they weren't clones and they actually just straight up died like that, yeah, it's a bit weird that you would, you know, take this Batman character, right, that has this massive history in this Arkham franchise, is renowned and beloved by millions, and then Harley Quinn just, boom, pops him in the brain. Like, yeah, it's kind of anticlimactic. So, yeah, there are some story beats that don't necessarily, they work, but I think they could have been done better, you know what I mean? So the story overall is fun, it's funny, it's entertaining. I think it's decent. I think, you know, if I were to rate the story in and of itself, I'd probably give it like a 7.5 out of 10. You know, I think the story is good. It's serviceable. There's really nothing woke. There's a pride flag thing in the thing, which makes no effing sense because everyone in there are like, they're all tough as nails. They're not gonna be like, we welcome all heroes. Like, no, like they're swearing and they're trying to murder people. They're not worried about that shit. You know what I mean? So that's kind of forced down your throat every time you walk out of the Hall of Justice. It's right there in your face. It really has no you know, point to be there. So yeah, that's the one woke thing I noticed. It's just there to be there. It has no impact on anything. It's just, oh, look what we added. You know what I mean? So yeah, kind of cringy there, but it doesn't destroy anything. You know, it's such a tiny part of the game, but it is there. Also, like I said, the you know, once we take the graphics, the performance, the story, the woke crap, which is barely noticeable, you have the gameplay, which every game I own, okay, I have a lot of games. I love them, right? I wouldn't own it and play it if I didn't love it, right? I love this game. This game is one of the most addicting effing video games I've probably ever played my entire life. I love it. So I beat the story. It took me about 5 days. You know, obviously I had homework and I did other things. I didn't just know life this game, but you know, I decently put a big chunk into the story. And throughout that story, you have the gameplay that's really, really fun, right? You get Harley Quinn, Deadshot, Captain Boomerang, King Shark, right? The four base characters. Each character plays different. That's incredible. Obviously, you look at Spider-Man 2, and obviously Spider-Man, Miles Morales, they did that too. Lego games, Lego DC Supervillains, for example, has over 200 characters, and they all play different for the most part. So this isn't anything new, but, you know, it's really cool to know that when you're playing as Deadshot, his movesets, his animations, obviously every character has assault rifles, pistols, SMGs, LMGs, shotguns, whatever. You know, King Shark shooting a freaking AR is the same animation as Harley Quinn shooting an AR. You're just shooting an effing gun. That's not revolutionary, right? It's going to look the same. But in terms of their animation styles and the way they move and traverse, you know, Harley Quinn's got the grapple gun, and she can literally grapple anything. Even if she can't grapple anything, she can grapple the drone above her head. So you have really, really good mobility as her, and that is kind of when your game will start to stutter. I noticed when you're playing as Harley Quinn and you're traversing. Traversal in this game, that's when the game really hits a dip in the frame rate, but it's not as bad. Again, I played Just Cause 3 back on the Xbox One, and that was a goddamn slideshow, and I enjoyed that. So, I mean, still. And then, of course, you get to the amazing traversal of Deadshot, where, you know, he's really, really quick, and he's got the boosted jetpack and all that. Really cool. It's like Infinite Warfare third person. Captain Boomerang's really cool with the Speed Force. He can kind of, you know, hit L, I think it's L1, on the PlayStation, and he kind of like does a little, like a little zap, and he kind of like goes invisible for a second and speeds up forward. And then you get the, of course, what do you call it, the Speed Force, where you got to kind of hold R1, and he throws the boomerang, and he teleports to where the boomerang is. It's really fast, really fluid. And then, of course, you got King Shark, which is probably my least favorite of the game to play as, because he's just kind of the tank character, which is fun. You know, if you hold R1, you can kind of charge up a jump attack and jump really far, or you can leap really high up in the air and slam down on the ground. It's not as intuitive or fun as the other three, but it is still enjoyable. But that is really effing cool. You know, I mean, each character plays different as far as their animations and their attacks, but also how they traverse Metropolis. Really, really addicting. Again, you're always doing something, right? Spider-Man 2 is addicting and fun, but once you get to a certain point in that game, you're just kind of, you know, swinging around, and it's fun, and it never gets boring. But there's downtime, right? Every few odd seconds there's a random crime. But in Suicide Squad, because it's a live service game, and even though I played offline, there's always things going on. There's always Brainiac purple guys to kill. There's always missions to do, always new gear to equip. It is truly an endless game. And that's what makes it so addicting and fun. You know, there's always, and I don't have ADHD or nothing, but people that have like zero effing attention span, like the TikTok generation or whatever they call it, they would effing love the shit out of this game because it's like a gambling in Vegas. You know what I mean? It's crazy because like there's lights and colors and flashing noises and a bunch of numbers and crap. It's crazy. It's almost too much, and thankfully you can disable it in the comments. But for me, it wasn't. Okay, I enjoyed it. Again, I don't have any kind of weird attention span. I've watched the Snyder Cut for 4 hours straight and didn't get bored once, right? I have a good attention span. But at the same time, I play games to have fun. And yeah, this is one of the most fun games I've played in a long time. Obviously, you get, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Lego Star Wars, Dying Light 2, Elden Ring, stuff like that. But I'm probably missing one or two. But this is a very, very well-made game in terms of its gameplay. You're always having fun. You're always on the move. And even when you're slowing down and you're just walking around and enjoying the open world of Metropolis, it looks really great. A lot of good details, a lot of, Riddler trophies and side quests. It's truly endless. And again, when you get those, other 4 characters as well, either you buy them outright, which I did, or my mom gave me money because I only bought it for like $16. So whatever, 20 plus 16, that's still not 70. So I'm fine with that. But if you paid 70 to $100, I would just recommend grinding. But it is what it is. But once you get those 4 characters, you get even more stuff to do and more animations. It's truly incredible. And then you also get the end game, right? Like the repetitive nature, which everyone dogged on and said it was dog cheeks. And again, I enjoyed the gameplay. I loved doing everything in this game, whether it was following a truck or whatever side mission objective you do. The gameplay is so fun, fluid, and feels so good to play. Once you get a handle on each character, which doesn't take long at all, you're really going to be addicted. And truly, I mean, maybe I'm just an idiot, but I didn't give a crap. I was like, oh, I got to go to defend this truck? Cool, let's do it. For the 8th time, I don't care. You know why? Because the game's fun. You know what I mean? I know people said that, oh, it's the same thing over and over again. There's no variety. But that's every game ever. You're playing Call of Duty. You know what you do for the whole goddamn game? You kill people. Same freaking thing. You know what I mean? You know what you do in the Arkham series? You go to the mission, you do a story quest, and then in the open world, you beat the crap out of thugs. What do you do in this game? You beat the crap out of Brainiac people. It's the same exact thing. I truly do not understand people saying this game is too repetitive. Maybe, I guess that's a personal taste. But if you're going to apply that to this game, you got to apply it to every other game. If you have 8,000 hours in Modern Warfare 3, and you're enjoying the heck out of it, and that's all you do, and you're like, oh man, it's so fresh, every game, it's so cool, getting new gear and new guns and new attachments, and then you play this, and you're like, oh, it's the same shit over and over again, it sucks. I'm like, dude, like, that opinion makes no sense for, like, half the people I've heard. You know what I mean? Like, I truly don't understand that, because, again, that's every game ever. Like, what do you do in Arkham Free Roam? You drive around, you glide around, you beat up bad guys. What do you do in this game? The same freaking thing, except there's even more to do. So I really don't get that at all. I get it. Maybe you don't want to defend a truck 8,000 times. I get that. Maybe you want a little bit more diversity in your mission structure. But, again, that's almost every game ever. You know what I mean? They're all kind of like that. Obviously, you look at Borderlands, which is, the king of looter shooters, and that there's a whole lot to do in that. But same thing with Borderlands, right? All you're doing in Borderlands is shooting things. And that never gets boring, and no one had a problem with that. So I don't get it. You know what I mean? I really, really don't. I think that's kind of a weird critique to be like, oh, it's the same thing over and over again. You just shoot shit. I'm like, yeah, that's every game ever made. You know what I mean? Like, in Ghost Runner, it's first-person parkour. That's all you do. It's not like, it's not like you're playing Call of Duty 3, for example, or Modern Warfare 3, for example, and, for missions 1 to 5 are shooter, and then mission 5 to 10 is a puzzle platformer. Like, every game has its own unique shtick that it sticks to, and I really, I don't know, man, it makes me laugh. Personally, I completely understand. Like, on a personal level, I get it. That's fine. But if you're talking about an objective score and as far as negativity or, negative for this game, you have to apply that exact same standard to every other game. I really don't understand it. The gameplay is fun. I have more fun playing this game than any of the Arkham games because the gameplay is so much fun. Now, obviously, the Arkham games are better made. Don't go twisting my words. Arkham Knight is a freaking masterpiece. But Arkham Knight is slow, and it's, I get it. You're playing as Batman, I understand. But this game, again, you're always doing something unique every 5 seconds, really, really fun. And I get it. They really wanted to kind of make sure that you are always entertained, and it works. Like, it is truly an entertaining game. I think people that heard that the story was garbage and, oh my god, it's online only, all these horrible things, I think you just gotta play it. Like, I went into this game expecting garbage, and I went into it with an open mind, and I loved it. Every single effing second of this game. I loved it. I've talked to people personally in my life that were like, bro, you're going to fucking hate this game. It's terrible. Don't buy it. It sucks. I was like, it's $16. What do I got to lose, right? Christmas money, whatever. I loved it. You know what I mean? And maybe I just like bad things. I don't know. But again, everyone's entitled to their own effing opinion, I guess. But yeah, I mean, as I've defended my views, I hear a lot of people say this game is bad because it's just bad, or it's bad because it's repetitive and whatever. So yeah, I like I said, I really don't get the whole repetitive nature of that. But anyway, we're going to move on from that. But I think that overall, this is a very addicting and fun game to play. The graphics are really great. It's very colorful. The frame rate is normally pretty great. Again, there is a little bit of stutter here and there, especially in the main open world. But again, that's due to an engine problem, not the fault of Rocksteady. Could they have made it more smooth? Yes. They are probably at fault a little bit, but it's not all their fault, right? The engine that either they chose to work with or were forced to use is pretty unstable for a lot of games, right? Stuff like that. You look at Elden Ring, Sekiro, Dark Souls. Those games all run like trash on certain consoles, right? Sekiro on my Series X stutters like a motherfudger, but I still love it. You know what I mean? So yeah, like, stuttering doesn't make or break a game. I'd rather have stuttering than frame drop, where it's like a slideshow. I haven't had a lot of that yet, so we'll have to see. But overall, man, like I said, I truly enjoyed this game. I think it's really great. I am, again, playing offline, so I don't have any of the crazy skins. Harley Quinn looks the same basically the whole time. So I'm probably not enjoying it the right way, but, I don't have PlayStation Plus, so I'm like, alright, I'll play offline, that's fine. Now, remember in the very beginning when I said that my first playthrough, this is where the other negative comes in. They've added the offline mode, right? And I was like, oh, cool, offline mode, great. Cool, right? What could go wrong? So I beat the game in offline mode. It took me 5 days. I beat the story. I was like, oh, effing great. And then Mom's like, hey, here's some money. Cool. I bought the 4 characters, so I went online to do that. So I could access the store. And then I'm like, oh, it says hold square to update your profile. Oh, cool. Okay, I'm going to update my offline profile so that I can now access the stuff I bought online, right? The characters. So I hold the button, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be so much fun. It's going to be sick. And I go to load my offline save, and it takes me back to the beginning of the game. I've never been so mad in my life, ever. I've gotten mad at games, okay? I don't get mad I get mad pretty easily, actually. I just don't show it too great. Now, I didn't actually throw a fit, right? In my mind, I'm pretty sure I died for a few seconds, and then God revived me because I was so mad. But yeah, so basically, I get it, right? Half of it's my fault because I couldn't read. I'm going to be a teacher, but I can't read words. But, a part of me is like, oh, cool. I'm going to update my offline profile with the stuff I bought online. That made sense to me, right? That would make sense to any human, right? That's not just me. But yeah, I guess it meant that it's going to update your save file to what you did online. And I did nothing online. So it reverted my 5-day save file to nothing. So thankfully, I skipped all the cutscenes and I managed to beat the story in 2 days. Yeah. So, skipping the cutscenes and really just going straight for the objectives really won't take you that long, honestly, if you know what you're doing, which I did. I played 5 days of it beforehand, so I just kind of thought of it as New Game Plus Plus or whatever. But yeah, that is a bit of an issue, right? The wording is confusing. That's another negative, okay? Like, part of it's me being a moron, but part of it is also the whole online versus offline, what transfers, what doesn't. It's very confusing sometimes. So yeah, there's a few story moments that don't make sense. The online-offline thing's kind of confusing. A little bit of stutter. But overall, it's an enjoyable story. It's fun to play. One of the most fun games I've played in years. And I don't know, man. I genuinely think it is worth your time. I think that, now that we're at the end of this game, and, you have the option to play offline so that when, you have no one to play with or to shut the server down in a week or whatever, this game is preserved forever, which is great because, regardless of whether you like it or not, game preservation is important. So I think that's, that was the smartest move of them to do Battlefield. But I think that at the end of the day, it's a freaking great time. You know what I mean? Like, truly. I really had a great time. The story, again, it's not going to move mountains or nothing, but it is a fun story. It's addicting. It has a really great level up system if you like that kind of looter shooter element to it. Again, if you play offline, there's really no incentive. There is nothing. There are no elements of mentioning the store or buy these skins for $20. You know, nothing offline. I played the whole thing offline, the first go around, the story, and it was great. You know what I mean? It played like a single player game. Truly, literally, it's like Borderlands, but third person, and you're DC, and you got really great traversal mechanics. It's a blast, it's fun as fudge, and I highly recommend you pick this game up. It's probably on sale everywhere. Again, I got my copy for $16. Mom gave me money for the 4 characters, and that was $20. So, you know, I spent, I don't know, almost $40 on this. 40 with tax, maybe. So I think it's, you know, for me, it's well worth it. I have almost 30 hours into it. I'm not even close to being done, again, because I just beat the campaign for the second time. I've got all these other missions to do and things to level up and gear and 8 characters now to explore with. It's truly, truly fun. So if you haven't played it, it is canon to the Arkham games. It takes place 5 years after Arkham Knight. So I think that's cool as well if you're a fan of the Arkham series. But no, it does not destroy the Arkham franchise. It doesn't ruin Kevin Conroy's legacy. You know, I think that people really, really panicked. And yeah, could it have been done differently and done better? Yeah, but it wasn't the, this wasn't like The Last Jedi. You know how people think Luke was ruined in The Last Jedi? Newsflash, he wasn't. They're all idiots who think that. I think most of us know that by now. It's the same thing. You know what I mean? Like, Luke is obviously a much better written character in his movie than Batman was in this game. But the point still stands, you know what I mean? I think it's kind of a cool thing they did. Obviously, it is revealed they're clones, so I guess for some people that's a cop-out, and they're trying to, you know, do damage control. Me, I haven't hit that part yet, so maybe there's a little bit more explaining in the story I didn't, you know, get to. I don't know. But overall, in terms of a game, how the game plays, how the game is fun, does it work right, I think they pretty much nailed it. Really, my only issues besides the story is that the weird wording and, of course, a little bit of stutter here and there. But I'm assuming they're going in maintenance mode, I believe, tomorrow or the 29th, something like that, in a day or so from this. And they're definitely, I'm assuming, going to have a few more patches. I think they're done with content. But in terms of what they're adding to the game, you know, fixing things, I think they're going to have 1 or 2 more patches, so hopefully they'll make it run better. But right now, again, I think it's an absolute blast. I love the fudge out of it. And, yeah, I just wanted to kind of clear the air and tell you guys, if you go into this game with an open mind and you like DC, you like the Arkham franchise, and you don't listen to all the people online telling you it's the worst thing since, I don't know, sliced bread, I think you will have fun. You know what I mean? Again, I played offline. I didn't have any of the online BS shoved down my throat. It played like a single-player experience. I loved it to death, and I can't wait to keep on playing it. So tell me down below in the comments what you think about Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. 9 times out of 10, you're probably going to hate it. I'm assuming everyone who comments is either going to say you're a shill, you're an idiot, kill yourself, I hate you, you're woke, you're stupid, you're garbage, you're an idiot, or, you know, any of the other slurs that you can come up with. When I reviewed Star Wars Outlaws, basically 90% of the comments were, never play a game again, you fucking retard. So I was like, yeah, okay, I understand. You know, people are idiots and people are bullies. It doesn't bother me. I'm just saying, you know, if you're going to comment something stupid and childish, maybe don't, because I'll just delete it. But yeah, you know, if you want to have a civil discussion on whether you like or dislike, you probably hated it. But yeah, I know I'm not wrong, but I know I am very rare in this opinion. But again, I mean, truly, like, I played it with an open mind, and I had a lot of fun. I genuinely enjoyed this experience. So yeah, tell me down below what you thought. Even though you probably hated it, I still want to hear your thoughts. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this. I know this is a longer video, about 30 minutes, but it's a lot to talk about. I really wanted to hit on a lot of points, and I really kind of spoke from my heart here, and I wasn't influenced by any kind of Twitter thread that I read about how woke or bad it was by some guy, you know what I mean? So yeah, I enjoyed it for what it was. Again, I know not everyone will, and probably no one else likes this game. But, you know, hey, if you like it, don't be afraid to say it in the comments, right? I'm not scared of nothing. So tell me down below what you thought about it. Thank you guys, and we'll see you in the next video.